We have all that and more here on Top Story. My name is Fostina Sarfo. Top Story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Tonight, the Ghana Bar Association is set on firm collusion course with its leader, the Attorney General, after it finally published reason for its controversial resolution demanding the revocation of the Chief Justice's suspension. The bar insists the act alone is unconstitutional and lacks the governing regulation under Article 296. They are pushing for the release of the full decision establishing a prima facie case against the Chief Justice. They also want the enactment of clear regulations to guide proceedings involving Superior Courts of Justices. Now, all this is detailed in the Ghana Bar Association Media Conference resolution, and that document is what we have right here on Top Story. My colleague Kweku Asante has been going through that document. Kweku, what else did they say?
So since that bar conference last Saturday, we have been expecting this bar statement, and it's a 4-page communique, and it contains resolutions of the Ghana Bar Association passed at its 2025 mid-year conference held at the Labadi Beach Hotel on Saturday, 26th April. It has a couple of issues, but on this matter, it is number 2 on the resolutions that were passed at that event, and it says, the Ghana Bar Association calls for the immediate revocation of the suspension of the Chief Justice as it considers the suspension to be unconstitutional, considering the fact that the President, who is not a judge or judicial officer, exercised his discretion to suspend the Chief Justice under Article 146(10) of the 1992 Constitution in the absence of a published constitutional instrument, statutory instrument, or regulations governing the exercise of his said discretion as required by Article 296 of the 1992 Constitution. And Article 296 regulates the use of discretion. It continues that the Ghana Bar Association hereby also calls for the immediate enactment of a clear and comprehensive regulations relating to the matters under Article 146 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana to ensure transparency, accountability, and fairness in all proceedings involving Superior Court justices, particularly in the context of the impeachment or removal of such officers. In addition, the Ghana Bar Association calls upon the President of the Republic to immediately release the full decision establishing a prima facie case against the Chief Justice consistent with established precedent. This disclosure is necessary to ensure the process is conducted in accordance with the principles of transparency. And then finally on this matter, the Ghana Bar Association says it denounces any and all unsubstantiated political commentary or statements that seek to undermine the authority, independence, and integrity of the judiciary. The association affirms its commitment to safeguarding the sanctity of the judicial process and resolves to take all appropriate legal measures to protect the judiciary from undue interference or unjustifiable attacks. That is the reasons behind the Ghana Bar Association's resolution that the President must revoke the suspension of the Chief Justice, because they say they consider the suspension as unconstitutional.
Thank you, Kweku Asante. Now, even before this document was made public on Newsnight yesterday, the Deputy Attorney General described the Ghana Bar Association's decision to petition the President to revoke the suspension of the Chief Justice as shocking and an act of lawlessness.
If a resolution comes and it's pointing to the fact that instead of, for example, appointing 5 members to be on the committee, the President appointed 3 or 20, then we can consider that. If again there is a resolution which says that the President has breached any of the steps that the Constitution provides for this exercise, we would consider such a resolution and look at how to address it. Again, we would also be interested in knowing from the Bar Association if they are aware of the cases that are pending in court. And if they are aware of the cases that are pending in court, if they are also aware of the reliefs that are being sought. In other words, I expect a bar, before they give a statement or a communique, to be aware or to have in mind that the matter is also sub judice. In other words, the matter is pending before a court.
No, I was asking you of what consequences is resolution to the process that is already in motion as a chief advisor to the state and to the president himself.
I mean, speaking from the perspective of law, this resolution has no bearing, it has no effect on the process at all. Indeed, if what the resolution is saying is anything to go by, it is only an act of lawlessness, an act of lawlessness asking the president to do something which is contrary to the constitution. It's also an act of lawlessness asking the president to take a decision on a matter which is before a court of law. So as far as we are concerned, the president is on track.
Justice, you're accusing the Bar Association of being lawless.
No one is above the law, and no one is also above lawlessness. So if I act lawlessly, I think you are entitled to describe my behavior as lawlessness. And if I act lawfully, you would describe it as such. And it is not an accusation in the sense of that, because as I've stated, I've given the reasons why I think the suggestion or the communique, if that is what it is lawless. Because first of all, there is a case which is seeking the same release on the court. And we all know that as lawyers, we shouldn't take decisions that will overreach orders of the court. That is one. Two, we are also aware that we have not been pointed. The president's process has not been pointed. No error has been pointed out by the bar so far, and we have not seen any error in that. So the call on the president to do that which would amount to unconstitutionality, as my colleague who just spoke said, is only could only be lawless.
Okay.
Now that was Justice Mensah yesterday on Newsnight. Well, let's explore the conversation further on Top Story today. Joining me now is Xavier Kuji. He is the PRO for the Ghana Bar Association. I also have Godwin Eduji Tamaklo. He's Director of Legal Affairs for the NDC. We appreciate your time, gentlemen. I'll start with you, Xavier. I've just been going through this document that you've put out today stating your resolution. You are going head on against the Attorney General, who is leader of the bar. He says you are acting lawlessly. Why exactly are you acting lawlessly? You may have to unmute for me to hear you, Xavier.
Is that question directed?
Yes, it is. Xavier, you can hear me loud and clear. Xavier, I'm hoping you can hear me loud and clear. Just yesterday, we heard from the Deputy Attorney General, and he says that if your stance as an association and as the bar is that the president acted unconstitutionally, he says it is shocking that you take that stance. He says you're also acting lawlessly as an association. What's your response to that?
Can you hear me now?
Clear.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. I'm hoping you can hear me as well.
Very well. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's rather unfortunate my good friend who is the Deputy Attorney General is using such words. He may disagree with our position, but I think that to say that we are being lawless, I don't think is the best, looking at the stature of person that he is. We are just asking a simple thing, or our position is simple. If he disagrees, I don't think that he should use such words. We are not saying anything. What we're saying is that the president has the discretion to exercise. But in our view, at our General Assembly, majority of our members are of the view that the president ought to have had regulations in the form of a constitutional instrument or statutory instrument issued to govern his exercise of that discretion. And in the absence of that, we're of the humble view that his exercise of the discretion was unconstitutional. So I don't think that this will warrant the description that the learned Deputy Attorney General is using on us. He could have used words like inappropriate. I think that would have been better.
Now, there's currently a case before court, and one of the reliefs they are seeking in court is the revocation of the suspension. Don't you think you're overreaching?
I do not think so.
Why exactly?
Because this is a resolution. I do not think so. It's just a resolution of the general body of the highest decision making of the Ghana Bar Association at this media conference. I don't think we said anything that is prejudicial that will work against the outcome of the case. Not at all.
Have you officially notified the Attorney General of this resolution?
Yes. If he hasn't received it, because we sent one to his office. If he hasn't received it, then he's on his way. But I know we sent one to his office.
But you realize that this would be going head on with someone who ought to lead the association. The Attorney General is leader of the bar.
No, we are not head on. We are just expressing what we think the position of the law is as far as the happenings are concerned. That is all we're saying. So it's not as if we have a bone to pick with anybody, not at all.
I'll come back to you because